Hey, blessings, and thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. We ask that you subscribe, like, and hit on the notification buttons to see more videos like this.
Now, but critical race theory is something that has been a part. I mean, not racism, but Black history has always been a part of American history. I mean, it's just American history. I don't see how you can erase Black history from American history. And in the ugliness of it, like how Dr. Cornel West shared it, there's the ugly side of this, the nation, and it's a beautiful side of it. When we think about it, this is the most powerful nation in the world. There's no other place to live in today. But it does have its ugly side of it and how it treats its citizens, Black citizens, to be direct.
and how did it get to be so powerful in that position?
Right.
See, there's an acknowledgement that in my opinion, when you look at it, that all boils down to if you have to openly have that conversation and accept the fact that things were done unjustly and weren't done right, there should be some restitution in place because you don't want to deal with any of that. It's easy to say, now, you know what? We want to change the history so it doesn't look that way anymore. Mm-hmm. And this way we don't have to deal with it.
Right. And it goes even deeper. When I think about even with some of the books that have been banned, and I know we talked about this before. I heard a lot about books being taken out of the school, and especially when it comes to this here, I mean it's just a little difficult for me to think or believe that you can take a book out of the school that contributes to that talks about the history of America. I can understand when it comes from a philosophy of a person writing a book and may talk about a fictitious character in the book and how that fictitious character may have lived in society in this racist society, and what may have happened to that particular character in the book, and then try to the person reading it relating it to us coming through the struggles here in America. I may be able to understand that. But when you talk about actual facts, when you think about the Black Panther, they was real. Mm-hmm. Everything that the Black Panther stood was real. So if I was to do research or find out that there are books on the Black Panthers that was in the school system and was taken out of the school system, I'm gonna have a problem with that because that was facts. It was reality. That's our history. But to come up with a fictional book, okay, there's a lot of books that we may want to take out, that may pertain to not civil rights, but the Civil War, and how they may have mentioned some that was not accurate as far as what actually happened, but may have said something that may favor them a little bit more. Okay, maybe we want to take that out. But when we're talking about facts, it's hard for me to believe that there are factual books that deals with our history that's being taken out. I'm gonna pass that to you, and then I want to share something that had happened here in Florida as well.
I go back to my original comment. It's like, if I'm dealing with the Klansman, I want to know who I'm dealing with. If he's got his hood on, I see him. When he takes the hood off, I see him. So it's like, that's what that is. If you want to change history, what you're saying is you want to change the truth to make you feel comfortable, mm-hmm. and you don't want to accept the fact that this is not fiction. That one group of people oppressed another group of people. If my people were the ones oppressed and your people oppressed them, that's just a fact. And we should be able to come to the table, discuss that, and move forward. Now, you may not be the individual that oppressed my people, so you and I can build a dialogue, we can build a relationship, and we can move forward. The problem is when you're not willing to accept it or discuss it, we can't move forward because you're liable, because now I see you as one who may want to implement the same. If you don't learn from history, you're subject to be put back into the same things that caused it. See, if you want to pretend slavery wasn't real, to you that means, well, if this situation and the climate change, I should be able to enslave you again. If it's going to benefit the country and move us and make us the greatest power, we'll enslave you for another 50 years. And then 100 years later, we'll let you come out and things will be okay. I'm just not good with that. But that's the reality of the law that's being passed.
Right. So I guess this what comes into play with me. Are we looking at it from and not to say you, but even like black society, because we're going back to the NAACP. You know, are we looking at it from a standpoint of a political? Are we considering social agendas at the same time? Because there are a lot of social agendas out there that when it comes to like, and I think sometimes we may be a little hard on some things because we and like Dr. Cornell West say, we have a lens that we see certain things in. We all do. And we have different perspectives on how we receive that. We have children that go to these schools. And it's almost like, I don't want the school system teaching my child nothing outside of math, English, maybe science. What's another major
Reading,
course?
writing, arithmetic.
Right.
Sciences, English, reading, writing, English, science, and arithmetic.
Right. Okay, we can know about the American government system. So, okay, that's cool. We can know about that. But when it comes to social issues that centers around maybe how I define, what my child should be taught, I think it is up to parents to be able to determine what is in the school or what a child put their eyes on or lay their eyes on. One of the things I think we may sometimes we may jump the gun on some things in Duval County. And it's just one of the incidents. Duval County, the school district in Florida, last month, I'm just going to read this here, removed a book about Afro-Puerto Rican baseball legend, Roberto Clemente, from library shelves for review. Now, this is when they were taking all the books down because they thought it had some racial blah, blah, blah that can, I guess, influence a child to think otherwise about themselves based off of that woke law that we just read. It said the removal of the book, Roberto Clemente, Pride of the Pittsburgh Pirates by Jonah Winter and Ruel Collin, made national news, and it was among more than 1 billion titles the district said it is reviewing to adhere to Florida's laws restricting lessons about race and racism, gender, and sexual identity, and requiring school librarians to review books and remove inappropriate context. Now, before I continue on that and share what happened there, keep in mind this law. If you was to violate this law, you'll be charged with a felony. And you can get up to 5 years. So it's a reason why it's a fearful group of people that's looking to make sure this is right and pulling books because they want to make sure that they don't violate the law and they're not thrown into jail. So it's a reason why a lot of these books are being pulled for review. And I know a lot of people say they're pulling the books, but a lot of them is being pulled for review, not just pulled off the shelf. They're being pulled for review because even this book here, it said the book was allegedly under review because it contained references to racism Clemente experienced. But this month, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis and Manny Diaz, the state education commissioner, blamed districts for overreacting and removing books such as ones about Clemente and another Major League Baseball player, Hank Aaron, in a press release about the book being banned. So I think when we talk about some of the books that are being banned, I think it's more of they're being pulled for review. But when we talk about like Roberto Clemente, he's an actual person. He's a baseball player. He experienced some things. Hank Aaron experienced some things. So that's just going back to the reality that facts are facts. This ain't a story about.
But here's
somebody.
the difference. That law don't matter. That is fact. That's the law don't matter. That is fact. Here's my personal opinion is you shouldn't be pulling books off the shelf. A comment that you made earlier. I'm gonna show you what I don't like. You said parents should be able to say, "I know what my kid being taught." That may be okay for you when you're thinking about your child.
Right.
But the other side of that coin is what happens when a white person says, I don't want my white child being taught that white people enslave black people because it makes my child feel. That's fact and it happened. So that's why they can say, I can pull that book because I don't want my child to be exposed to that. But it's a fact and it happened. So people are pulling it because you can say it's about Roberto Clemente, but with this particular governor, if he's being personal and he's being petty because he went after Disney because they made a comment about a law that he passed. And now you want to use the power of your office to oppress them. See, that's the same way we were oppressed during slavery. He's just using the power of his office. And you have to really be careful because what that means is and most, I'm going to just say this, most white people aren't as extreme, but you do have those who will say, I don't want any reference to slavery being taught to my child. So that if your black child is sitting in the classroom next to them, now when they learn about American history, it don't care that it was Hank Aaron or Roberto Clemente. It's got to be pulled because it might make them feel uncomfortable about the fact that, well, maybe I come from an upper middle class family and I'm privileged, especially that's the problem with banning books because you're going to remove the truth as well as moving things that you may be uncomfortable with. But the truth is the truth, whether you're comfortable with it or not.
Right. And that's why they had to put these books back. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing to remove it for review. It's another thing to remove it completely. And a lot of the books that I'm talking about that they're removing, they're reviewing them, but they have to put some of these books back based off the facts that are in the books. Like I said, it's one thing to have a perspective about something. It's another thing to have facts that's placed in front of your face. And you can't take away the facts of our commitment and what we have contributed to this nation. You can't erase us. It's just, you cannot erase us from American history. You know, if we built the White House, we built the White House. If we built most of this stuff, we built it. Because even the white children, if they was to go back and say, well, who did this and who did that, what you going to tell them a lie?
Yes.
I mean, you may tell them a lie, but this is the other side of that.
What about books written by people like James Baldwin, A Fire on Ice? They go pull that from the shelf. I think that should be. Why is that not?
Right.
Why can't they read about that?
Right. No, I get that. And I'm one of the ones like this here.
But we can read about Hitler.
It's certain things. It's certain things when we talk about. See, when you know how they set precedents of certain things. When you set a precedent, now you allow for certain things to happen that should not, really, honestly, to me, that should not happen because you set a precedent for it. And I think what's happening, if you don't set that precedent for it, then certain things that certain agendas, I would say, now are not able to be enforced because you didn't set the precedent for that agenda to be pushed forward. And I think we have to, and that's coming back to being conscious of what's going on outside of just being emotional about one thing, to say like, hold on, let me consider this. Why is this happening? What's going on behind this here to innate this to happen or to push this here to happen? And I think that's just being conscious of what's happening before acting emotionally on a lot of that. And I think that's what the NAACP did. They kind of act emotionally on that. But we get into we after the hour, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break and we're gonna come right back.
And we do have a comment out of the chat. I'll go to that real quick. Yes. It says, this is so true. As an educator, they are for some reason do not want European children taught about racism in the U.S. and the world. CRT is also an attempt for the government to control what is taught and not taught in a public classroom.
I agree. I agree. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and we'll come right back.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm an enrolled agent with Scott & Associates accounting firm. As you can see, we work diligently for our clients, making sure that all of their tax and accounting needs are met. Come take a walk with me.
At Scott & Associates, we pride ourselves in providing exceptional service to our clients. We firmly stand behind all of the work that we do. However, we have also put measures in place to protect our clients should something ever go wrong.
To schedule a tax appointment for your business or personal need, text or call us today at 321-754-1360. And remember, you can always count on Scott.
All right, and we are back, and this is the part where we get a little bit into our national news. We talked about a little week back, brother, about, the June 1st deadline for them to come up with an agreement to either raise the debt ceiling. So I'm just read this here. It say the House on Wednesday overwhelmingly passed legislation negotiated by President Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy to suspend the debt ceiling and set federal spending limits as a board bipartisan coalition lined up to cast a critical vote to pull the nation back from the brink of economic catastrophe. All right, so this vote was passed 314 votes to 117. I guess my problem is with this is because this would have caused a catastrophe, right?
A financial catastrophe.
Right. Why was 117? Why wasn't it anonymous? Why was it not a general consensus? Why was 117 people voting against it?
It's a House divided case. It's because people have an agenda, and they have their own agenda, and it's very self-serving. When you're there for your particular agenda, that's all that matters to you, because you can use it to raise money, you can use it to bolster your own personal coffers. Because see, if you're well off enough, you really don't. It don't matter what happened. But for working people who work every day, who have to pay their bills, who trying to save money, who trying to make it, they can't afford these hiccups. That wouldn't have been a hiccup. That would have been like a stumbling block. That would have been like jump up and fall. And you're really not concerned about that because it's for political points, and it's to push an agenda. All this stuff, it's about pushing your agenda, but you don't have the best interests of your people at concern. Now, I'll say now, if you're conservative, by all means, is this country, we spend drunk like a sailor. But the American system of money and the way that it works, you can't throw a brick in the window and expect it not to cause a car wreck.
Right.
And you want to throw a brick in the window while it's moving. No, what you do is you come to a safe point, you stop the car, have an honest decision about debt and deficit and move forward. But when people got their hands in the cookie jar, and you don't, your hand is in the cookie jar.
Right.
And then when the debt ceiling come up, you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not taking it out. It's your hand in the cookie jar, but you don't want to take it out. But if you take it out, you finna throw a brick in the window of that car, and it's gonna cause a wreck. And who gonna be hurt? The people.
Right.
Because you're not driving in that car.
Right. Now you done caused a 10-car collision and crash. Because of your stupidity. Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy they did come up with an agreement. It's a 2-year agreement. I would like to hear what's inside of that as far as the spending cuts and et cetera. And that will be the large part of that. But they did come up with an agreement, That was something that we was talking about in our last show, you know. So with that being said, now it's the part of the program that I get to, well, we all kind of get to participate in. And just letting you know about where we are as far as live talk as we get closer to the end of the show. All right, brother, we're getting to the point where we close out. I think we had a great time today. You want to start off by closing out?
Yeah, I would just I would go back to our word of the day. Be conscious of everything that's going on around you, and just think about it and make the right decisions. Just be conscious and make the right decisions.
Indeed. And as the host, I will leave you with a quote. And this quote comes from Maya Angelou. And it says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. So I think that was a great quote to end with today. And as the well, first and foremost, we want to thank each and every one of you for chiming into the show today, for giving your feedback. We really appreciate it. You made the show what it is today. And I hope that we're able to we're conscious of what's going on, not only just in Florida, because some of you are in other states and you want to be conscious of what's going on in your state and your local cities. First and foremost, we believe in local things because, like my brother said, you know, if the trash people ain't come picking up the trash, we want to make sure that the right person in office to make sure that happens. So our local commitment to voting for those local officials is very important. Right? So from the host, I want to say peace and prosperity. And from Live Talk, we are out. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
For live.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
This live.
Are you
talk.
ready?
Live.
Are you
talk.
ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk,
Yeah.
because it's about time to set it off. Are you ready?
Let's go.
For the word of the day,
Hey.
the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk,
Yeah.
because it's about time to set it off.
Live talk. This live talk. Live talk. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. We're going all the way live with it. With live talk, increase your mentality, put away carnality and increase your spirituality. Let's
Are you ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
This live talk.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk, because it's about time to set it off.